Welcome to another fascinating journey into the world of philosophy and the mysteries of human existence. Have you ever stopped to wonder, what makes you, you? Is it the electrical impulses firing through your brain? The actions of your physical body? Or is it something deeper and intangible essence? Your mind or soul? These questions have intrigued philosophers, scientists, and thinkers for centuries. And today we're diving into one of the most influential and debated theories about the human experience, dualism. Picture this. You're sitting in your favorite spot, sipping coffee, and suddenly you feel a wave of stress. Your mind is overwhelmed by thoughts, deadlines, responsibilities, uncertainties, and soon, your body responds. Your chest tightens, your stomach churns, and that dull headache creeps in. Ever wondered why that happens? Or how something so immaterial, your thoughts, can have such a tangible impact on your physical body? This is the mind-body connection, and it's exactly what René Descartes, the father of modern philosophy, grappled with in his groundbreaking theory of dualism. Descartes proposed that the mind, residential cogitans, and the body, residential extensa, are fundamentally different substances. One is immaterial, the other physical, and yet somehow they interact. But here's the kicker. How does this interaction even work? If you've ever tried to solve a Rubik's Cube or balance a stack of dishes while your mind wandered elsewhere, you've probably felt the disconnect between your body and mind. Dualism doesn't just offer a philosophical explanation for these moments, it challenges us to rethink our entire understanding of what it means to be human. Throughout this video, we're going to explore Descartes' theory and why it still matters today. We'll unpack the mysteries of the mind-body problem, dive into real-world examples like the placebo effect and stress, and examine how modern neuroscience and AI are reshaping this ancient debate. By the end, you'll not only have a deeper appreciation for Descartes' ideas, but also a new perspective on yourself, your thoughts, your actions, and how they're interconnected. Before we jump in, I want to ask for your help in keeping this channel alive and thriving. If you find value in thought-provoking content like this, take a moment to like this video to show your support. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Your engagement means the world to us, and it helps the channel grow. And if you feel extra inspired, you can support us with a super thanks or share this video with friends who love diving into the big questions of life. Now, let's dive into the fascinating world of dualism. Dualism, as introduced by René Descartes, represents a profound shift in understanding the human experience. The theory rests on the idea that the mind and body are fundamentally different in nature. The mind is immaterial and capable of thought, while the body is physical and operates within the confines of physical laws. Descartes' concept of residential cogitans, the thinking substance, and residential extensa, the extended substance, was groundbreaking because it sought to categorize these two entities as distinct yet interacting realms. This interaction, however, sparked centuries of debate, particularly around how two such disparate substances could influence each other. One of the most enduring questions raised by dualism is the mind-body problem. If the mind and body are indeed separate, as Descartes proposed, how can the immaterial mind cause the physical body to act? Conversely, how does the body, through sensory inputs, affect the mind's thoughts and feelings? Descartes suggested that the pineal gland was the site where these interactions occurred. While this idea has been dismissed by modern science, the core problem he identified remains unresolved. It challenges us to think about the mechanisms through which subjective experiences, like thoughts and emotions, translate into physical actions and reactions. Modern neuroscience has provided significant insights into the relationship between the mind and body. Technologies like fMRI scans reveal that specific areas of the brain light up during particular mental activities, suggesting a direct link between physical brain states and subjective experiences. For instance, when someone recalls a happy memory, regions associated with emotion, such as the amygdala, become active. Similarly, decision-making tasks engage the prefrontal cortex. These discoveries have led many scientists to adopt a materialist perspective, arguing that consciousness and thought are entirely products of brain activity. Yet, Materialism does not fully address the subjective quality of experience. Neuroscience can identify which brain regions are active during an emotion, but it cannot explain why those brain states feel like something specific. This is what philosopher David Chalmers calls the hard problem of consciousness. Why does the activation of certain neurons result in the experience of tasting chocolate or feeling sadness? This gap in understanding leaves space for dualism as a possible explanation, as it suggests that subjective experience might not be reducible to physical processes alone. Practical examples further illustrate the complexities of the mind-body relationship. Consider the placebo effect, where a patient's belief in the effectiveness of a treatment despite it being a sugar pill leads to real physical improvements. This phenomenon raises intriguing questions. How can a mental state, like belief, lead to measurable changes in the body? The placebo effect suggests that the mind has a powerful influence over physical health, challenging strictly materialist explanations and lending credibility to the dualist perspective. Another relatable example is the impact of stress on the body. Mental states such as anxiety or prolonged stress can manifest physically through symptoms like headaches, muscle tension, or weakened immunity. While science explains these effects through hormonal and neural pathways, the subjective nature of stress, how it is perceived and processed by an individual, points to a nuanced interaction between mind and body that dualism attempts to address. The mind doesn't merely influence the body, it actively shapes the way physical processes unfold. Critics of dualism, however, argue that dividing the mind and body into separate substances unnecessarily complicates our understanding of human experience. Materialists contend that all mental phenomena can eventually be explained as products of the brain's activity. According to this view, what we call the mind is nothing more than the brain's processing of sensory information, memory, and decision-making. Idealists, on the other hand, propose the opposite. Only the mind truly exists, and the physical world is a construct of perception. Both perspectives reject dualism while offering radically different views on reality. Despite these criticisms, dualism persists as a compelling framework, particularly in discussions about consciousness and free will. The notion that the mind is separate from the body resonates with everyday experiences where mental states seem to transcend physical limitations. For example, moments of intense focus or creativity can make people feel detached from their physical selves, as though their minds are operating on a different plane. These experiences are difficult to explain within a purely materialist framework, as they suggest a level of mental autonomy that transcends physical constraints. Emerging technologies, particularly in artificial intelligence and robotics, have added a new dimension to the debate. Machines capable of mimicking human reasoning and decision-making force us to reconsider the nature of consciousness and its relationship to physical form. If a robot can simulate human behavior convincingly, does it have a mind? If not, what distinguishes its programmed responses from our subjective thoughts? These questions bring dualism into modern relevance, as they challenge us to define what it means to have a mind distinct from a body. Dualism also intersects with cultural and philosophical perspectives on identity and selfhood. Many religious and spiritual traditions align with dualist ideas, viewing the soul or spirit as separate from the physical body. This belief influences how people understand life, death, and the afterlife. For instance, the concept of the soul transcending the body is central to numerous religious narratives, offering a comforting explanation for existence beyond physical death. These beliefs resonate with dualism's core premise, that the mind, or soul, is not bound by the limitations of the body. In exploring these dimensions, it becomes clear that dualism is not just a theoretical framework, but also a lens through which people interpret their experiences and the world around them. Whether through moments of emotional resilience that defy physical limitations, or the persistent mystery of subjective experience, the interplay between mind and body remains a rich and complex area of inquiry. This interplay challenges us to question not only how we function as individuals, but also how we relate to the broader universe and the fundamental nature of reality. René Descartes, often referred to as the father of modern philosophy, emerged during the 17th century, a time marked by significant upheaval and transformation in both science and philosophy. This era, known as the scientific revolution, challenged traditional Aristotelian ideas that had dominated European thought for centuries. Figures like Galileo and Kepler were redefining humanity's understanding of the cosmos, questioning long-held beliefs, and placing reason and empirical observation at the forefront of intellectual inquiry. Descartes stood out as a thinker who sought to establish a firm foundation for knowledge, one that could withstand the skepticism and uncertainty of his time. His philosophy began with a profound sense of doubt. Descartes questioned everything: his senses, the external world, and even the existence of his own body. He aimed to strip away every assumption to uncover an indubitable truth, a foundation upon which all other knowledge could be built. This rigorous skepticism led him to his famous conclusion, cogito, ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. This statement became a cornerstone of his philosophy, signifying that the very act of doubting confirmed the existence of a thinking self. For Descartes, the mind's ability to think, reason, and doubt was undeniable proof of its existence, even when all else was uncertain. Building on this insight, Descartes developed his theory of dualism, which posits a fundamental distinction between the mind, residential cogitans, and the body, residential extensa. According to Descartes, the mind is an immaterial, thinking substance that exists independently of physical space. It is where thought, reason, emotion, and consciousness reside. The body, on the other hand, is a material substance that occupies space and follows the laws of physics. It can be measured, manipulated, and observed, unlike the mind, which operates in a domain beyond the physical. This dualistic framework addressed many philosophical questions of the time, but also introduced new challenges. Descartes' view of the mind as separate from the body raised the question of how these two substances could interact. If the mind is immaterial and the body material, by what mechanism does one influence the other? Descartes proposed that the pineal gland, a small structure in the brain, served as the point of interaction between the two. While this explanation was speculative and has since been dismissed by modern science, the problem of interaction remains a central issue in the mind-body debate. Descartes' dualism also reflected his broader philosophical project to establish a clear and distinct understanding of reality. He sought to explain the physical world through the principles of geometry and mechanics, viewing the body as a kind of machine governed by natural laws. This mechanistic view of the body was revolutionary for its time, aligning with the emerging scientific worldview that sought to explain phenomena in terms of cause and effect. At the same time, Descartes' emphasis on the mind as a non-physical entity ensured that his philosophy retained a place for human freedom, creativity, and moral responsibility, qualities that seemed to resist reduction to purely mechanical processes. The distinction between residential cogitans and res extensa also had profound implications for understanding human identity and experience. For Descartes, the essence of the self lay in the mind, not the body. This view resonates with the way many people intuitively understand themselves. For example, when individuals reflect on who they are, they often think of their thoughts, memories, and beliefs rather than their physical attributes. Even in popular culture, the idea of the mind as the true essence of a person appears frequently, such as in narratives about artificial intelligence or consciousness transfer, where characters grapple with what defines them beyond their physical form. However, Descartes' dualism was not without its critics. Many philosophers have argued that dividing the mind and body into separate substances creates more problems than it solves. The question of interaction, how an immaterial mind can influence a material body, remains one of the most significant challenges to dualism. Consider everyday experiences such as moving your arm to pick up a cup of coffee. From a dualist perspective, the decision to move your arm originates in the immaterial mind, but the movement itself is carried out by the physical body. How does the mind initiate this action? Modern neuroscience, which identifies neural activity in the brain as the basis for voluntary movement, complicates this explanation by suggesting that physical processes might precede conscious decisions. Additionally, Descartes' mechanistic view of the body has been challenged by advances in biology and psychology, which reveal a more integrated relationship between mental and physical processes. For instance, stress, a mental state, can have profound physical effects, such as elevated heart rate or a weakened immune system. Similarly, physical activities like exercise can influence mental states, improving mood and reducing symptoms of depression. These examples suggest that the mind and body are not as separate as Descartes proposed, but are deeply interconnected. Despite these challenges, Descartes' dualism has had a lasting impact on philosophy, science, and popular thought. It laid the groundwork for modern discussions of consciousness, identity, and the nature of reality. The idea that the mind is separate from the body continues to resonate in debates about artificial intelligence, ethics, and even spirituality. For example, questions about whether machines can possess consciousness or whether the mind can exist independently of the brain echo Descartes' concerns about the nature of residential cogitans and its relationship to residential extensa. Descartes' dualism also has practical implications for how people understand and navigate their lives. The distinction between the mind and body underpins many approaches to health and wellness. From traditional practices like meditation and mindfulness, which focus on the mind's ability to influence the body, to modern medicine, which often treats mental and physical health as interconnected. In sports, the concept of mind over matter captures the idea that mental determination can overcome physical limitations, a notion that aligns with Descartes' emphasis on the mind's independence from the body. Even in legal and ethical contexts, the influence of dualism is apparent. Concepts like free will and moral responsibility often assume a distinction between the mind and body. If individuals are more than just physical entities, if they are conscious, thinking beings with the capacity for choice, then they can be held accountable for their actions in a way that purely mechanistic explanations might not allow. This perspective underscores the enduring relevance of Descartes' ideas in areas ranging from criminal justice to personal development. In examining Descartes' dualism, it becomes clear that his philosophy is not just an abstract theory but a framework that continues to shape how people think about themselves and their place in the world. Whether through the lens of science, ethics, or everyday experience, the distinction between mind and body remains a powerful tool for understanding the complexities of human existence. Descartes' assertion that the mind is the essence of the self challenges us to consider what it means to be conscious, to think, and ultimately, to exist. The mind-body problem is one of the most enduring questions in philosophy, centered around the challenge of explaining how an immaterial mind can interact with a physical body. René Descartes' dualism posits that the mind and body are fundamentally different substances, the mind as an immaterial, thinking entity and the body as a material, extended entity. While this distinction offers a compelling framework for understanding human experience, it also raises significant questions about interaction. If the mind exists outside physical space, how can it cause physical movements in the body? Similarly, how do physical sensations such as pain from a sharp object translate into the immaterial realm of thoughts and emotions? These questions remain central to debates in philosophy, neuroscience, and psychology. One of the primary criticisms of dualism comes from the challenge of interaction. Descartes suggested that the pineal gland, a small structure in the brain, served as the point of connection between mind and body. However, this explanation has been dismissed as anatomically and physiologically implausible. Modern science has not found evidence for such a specific meeting point. And the broader question remains: what mechanism allows for causal interaction between two substances with fundamentally different properties? This issue has led many philosophers to propose alternative approaches to understanding the mind-body relationship. Monism, for instance, rejects the idea that mind and body are separate substances, instead proposing that they are two aspects of the same reality. Within monism, there are variations such as materialism and idealism, which differ in their interpretation of what constitutes this unified reality. Materialism asserts that only the physical world is real, and mental phenomena are byproducts of physical processes in the brain. In this view, the mind is not a separate entity but an emergent property of neural activity. Neuroscience supports this perspective by demonstrating correlations between brain activity and mental states. For example, the release of serotonin in the brain is associated with feelings of happiness, and damage to specific brain regions can impair memory, speech, or emotional regulation. While materialism provides a scientifically grounded framework, it struggles to account for subjective experiences, often referred to as qualia. Qualia are the personal, first-person aspects of experiences, such as the redness of a rose or the bitterness of coffee. Material explanations can describe the neural processes associated with these experiences, but cannot fully explain why they feel the way they do. This limitation has led to the hard problem of consciousness, a term coined by philosopher David Chalmers to describe the challenge of explaining why certain brain states produce specific subjective experiences. The gap between objective observation and subjective feeling remains a significant issue for materialist theories. On the other hand, idealism takes the opposite approach, asserting that only the mind is real and the physical world is a construct of perception. According to this view, everything we perceive as physical is actually a product of mental processes. Idealism challenges the assumption that matter exists independently of observation, suggesting instead that reality is fundamentally shaped by consciousness. While this perspective resolves the interaction problem by eliminating the need for a separate physical substance, it introduces its own set of difficulties. For example, idealism must account for the apparent consistency and objectivity of the physical world, which seems to exist independently of any single observer. These philosophical debates have practical implications for understanding human behavior and experience. For instance, the placebo effect provides a compelling example of the mind's ability to influence the body. When patients believe they are receiving an effective treatment, even if the treatment is inert, they often experience real physiological changes, such as reduced pain or improved symptoms. This phenomenon demonstrates that mental states like belief and expectation can have a profound impact on physical health, challenging materialist assumptions that reduce the mind to brain activity alone. Another example can be found in the effects of stress on the body. Chronic stress, a mental state, can lead to physical ailments such as high blood pressure, weakened immune function, and digestive issues. These effects occur through complex interactions between the brain, endocrine system, and immune system, highlighting the intricate relationship between mental and physical processes. While these interactions can often be explained in terms of hormonal and neural pathways, the subjective experience of stress, the way individuals perceive and respond to challenges, adds a layer of complexity that materialist accounts struggle to fully capture. Advances in technology have further complicated the debate. Artificial intelligence and robotics raise questions about whether machines can possess minds or consciousness. If a computer can perform tasks that mimic human thought processes, such as solving problems or engaging in conversation, does it have a mind? Materialists might argue that consciousness is simply a complex function of physical processes, suggesting that sufficiently advanced machines could achieve it. However, skeptics point out that even the most advanced AI lacks subjective experience. A machine might process information and simulate emotions, but it does not feel anything. This distinction underscores the difficulty of reducing the mind to purely physical explanations. Another challenge to materialism comes from phenomena like near-death experiences, where individuals report vivid perceptions and emotions while their brains show little to no activity. These accounts are often used to support dualist or idealist perspectives, suggesting that consciousness might exist independently of the brain. While skeptics attribute such experiences to residual brain activity or psychological factors, their subjective richness and consistency raise intriguing questions about the relationship between mind and body. Despite the criticisms of dualism, its influence persists in both philosophy and popular thought. Many people intuitively feel that their minds and bodies are distinct, especially in moments where mental and physical states seem disconnected. For example, someone might feel mentally exhausted despite being physically well rested, or they might experience physical pain that seems disproportionate to any identifiable injury. These experiences suggest a complex interplay between mind and body that defies simple categorization. The persistence of the mind-body problem indicates that no single framework, dualism, materialism, or idealism has provided a fully satisfactory explanation. Instead, Each approach offers valuable insights while leaving certain questions unanswered. Dualism emphasizes the distinctiveness of mental and physical phenomena. Materialism grounds our understanding in observable processes, and idealism highlights the centrality of consciousness in shaping reality. Together, these perspectives contribute to a richer, more nuanced understanding of the human condition, even as they continue to provoke debate and inspire new lines of inquiry. The relationship between the mind and body is both fascinating and complex, as demonstrated by numerous examples from everyday life, historical accounts, and scientific research. This connection is not only a subject of philosophical inquiry, but also a cornerstone of how we understand human health, behavior, and consciousness. Consider the common experience of stress. When someone is overwhelmed with worry or anxiety, their body often responds in physical ways, such as headaches, stomach aches, or muscle tension. These symptoms are not merely imagined. They are measurable physiological responses triggered by mental states. The stress hormone cortisol, for example, surges during periods of intense mental pressure, leading to a cascade of effects on the body's immune system, digestive processes, and cardiovascular health. This interaction highlights the profound influence of the mind on physical well-being. Another striking illustration of the mind-body relationship is the placebo effect. When a person believes they are receiving a treatment, such as a sugar pill disguised as medication, they often experience real improvements in their condition. This phenomenon is widely documented in medical studies, where patients given placebos report reduced pain, lower blood pressure, or improved mood. The mind's power to influence the body in this way raises questions about how belief, an immaterial state, can produce tangible physical outcomes. For instance, a patient undergoing a placebo treatment for chronic pain might report significant relief, even though no active ingredient is present in the treatment. This effect demonstrates not only the interconnectedness of mind and body, but also the challenges in disentangling psychological and physiological processes. Beyond everyday examples, history provides compelling cases that illuminate the complexities of the mind-body connection. Alan Turing's concept of the Turing machine, although primarily a theoretical construct in the study of computation, also touches upon the nature of consciousness and its potential separation from physical form. Turing's work was a precursor to the idea of artificial intelligence, raising questions about whether a machine capable of mimicking human thought processes could be said to have a mind. This line of inquiry challenges traditional dualist views that place the mind firmly within a biological body, suggesting that consciousness might instead be a functional attribute that could, in theory, exist independently of a physical brain. In modern neuroscience, studies have continued to explore the mechanisms through which the mind and body interact. For example, research using functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, has shown how specific areas of the brain activate during particular mental states, such as recalling a memory or feeling joy. These findings offer materialist explanations for mental phenomena, showing how the brain's physical structures underlie thoughts and emotions. However, even with these advancements, there remain questions that science has yet to answer fully. Why does the activation of a neural pathway lead to the subjective experience of happiness, sadness, or fear? This mystery, often referred to as the hard problem of consciousness, leaves room for interpretations that go beyond strict materialism. The phenomenon of phantom limb sensations provides another intriguing example of the mind-body relationship. Individuals who have lost a limb often report feeling sensations, such as itching or pain. In the absent limb, these experiences suggest that the mind's representation of the body can persist even when the physical body has changed. This discrepancy between mental and physical realities challenges straightforward explanations and points to the mind's autonomy in shaping subjective experiences. Artificial intelligence and robotics add further complexity to these discussions. As machines become increasingly capable of performing tasks traditionally associated with human intelligence, questions arise about whether they could ever possess consciousness or a mind. For example, advanced AI systems like natural language processors can mimic conversational abilities to an impressive degree, but they lack the subjective experience that defines human consciousness. This distinction highlights the difficulty of equating functional behavior with the presence of a mind and underscores the challenges of defining consciousness in purely physical terms. In addition to these examples, phenomena like meditation and mindfulness practices demonstrate the intentional use of the mind to influence the body. Regular meditation has been shown to reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and improve immune function, suggesting that mental focus and intention can lead to measurable physical benefits. These practices are rooted in the idea that the mind has a degree of control over bodily states, a concept that resonates with both dualist and holistic perspectives. From historical theories like Descartes' dualism to contemporary studies in neuroscience and artificial intelligence, the relationship between the mind and body continues to be a rich and multifaceted area of exploration. Everyday experiences, scientific discoveries, and philosophical questions all converge to reveal the depth of this connection, challenging us to think critically about what it means to be human. The interplay of belief, emotion, and physical response remains central to our understanding of health, behavior, and consciousness, ensuring that the mind-body relationship will remain a subject of inquiry for generations to come. Dualism, as presented by René Descartes, holds undeniable value as a philosophical framework that laid the foundation for many profound inquiries into the nature of existence, identity, and consciousness. By asserting a clear distinction between the mind and body, Descartes introduced a way of thinking that addressed the unique characteristics of subjective experience. The immaterial mind capable of thought, reflection, and reason was set apart from the physical body, which operates under the laws of physics. This distinction allowed for the exploration of deeply human questions, such as the essence of the self, the origins of consciousness, and the relationship between thought and action. Dualism's greatest strength lies in its ability to articulate and preserve the idea that human beings are more than the sum of their physical parts. However, dualism also has significant limitations, particularly when examined through the lens of modern science. Advances in neuroscience have revealed the intricate workings of the brain, showing how specific neural pathways correspond to mental states, emotions, and decision-making. These findings challenge the dualist claim that the mind is an entirely separate substance. For instance, damage to certain areas of the brain can drastically alter personality, memory, and cognitive abilities, suggesting that the mind is closely tied to the brain's physical structure. This raises a critical question. If changes in the brain affect the mind, can the two truly be separate entities? Moreover, dualism struggles to provide a satisfactory explanation for the interaction between the mind and body. Descartes' hypothesis of the pineal gland as the bridge between these substances has long been discredited, and no alternative explanation has fully resolved this issue. The lack of a clear mechanism for how an immaterial mind could influence a material body remains a significant challenge for dualist theories. In this sense, dualism often feels more like an elegant hypothesis than a practical framework for understanding the complexities of human experience. Despite these limitations, dualism continues to inspire exploration at the intersection of philosophy and neuroscience. One of the most promising directions for future research lies in understanding how the brain generates consciousness. Neuroscience has made remarkable progress in mapping the brain's activity, but the subjective nature of consciousness, the way it feels to experience something, remains elusive. This hard problem of consciousness, as described by David Chalmers, suggests that there may be aspects of the mind that cannot be fully explained by physical processes alone. Philosophical inquiry, combined with cutting-edge scientific research, could help bridge this gap, providing deeper insights into the nature of the mind and its relationship to the body. The rise of artificial intelligence further complicates and enriches the debate. As machines become increasingly capable of performing tasks that require reasoning, learning, and adaptation, the question arises: could AI ever possess consciousness? On the surface, AI systems appear to mimic human thought processes, solving problems, generating creative content, and engaging in conversation. However, these machines lack subjective experience. They process information without truly feeling or understanding it. This distinction challenges us to reconsider what it means to have a mind. If consciousness requires subjective experience, then AI, no matter how advanced, may never truly achieve it. On the other hand, if consciousness is purely a function of processing information, it might be possible to replicate it in a non-biological system. These questions are not purely academic. They have practical implications for ethics, law, and society. For example, if AI were to develop consciousness, how would we determine its rights and responsibilities? Could a machine be held accountable for its actions? Would it deserve protection or autonomy? These issues force us to confront the boundaries of personhood and the criteria for moral consideration, challenging assumptions rooted in dualist thinking. In addition to AI, the integration of neuroscience and technology has opened new possibilities for exploring the mind-body relationship. Brain-computer interfaces, for instance, allow individuals to control external devices using only their thoughts. This technology has profound implications for people with physical disabilities, enabling them to regain mobility and independence. However, it also blurs the line between mind and machine, raising questions about identity and agency. If a person's thoughts can directly influence a machine, does the machine become an extension of their mind? Such developments suggest that the distinction between mind and body may not be as rigid as dualism proposes. Another area of interest is the potential for technology to enhance or alter mental states. Techniques like transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, and deep brain stimulation, DBS, can modulate brain activity to treat conditions such as depression, Parkinson's disease, and epilepsy. These interventions demonstrate the profound impact of physical changes on mental states, challenging the notion that the mind operates independently of the body. At the same time, they open up new possibilities for understanding how the brain shapes experience, offering opportunities to test and refine theories about the mind-body relationship. Despite the advances in technology and neuroscience, dualism retains its relevance as a conceptual framework for exploring human experience. Its emphasis on the distinctiveness of the mind allows for the consideration of phenomena that cannot be easily reduced to physical processes. For instance, spiritual and religious experiences often involve a sense of connection or transcendence that feels separate from the physical body. While neuroscience can identify brain activity associated with these experiences, it cannot fully capture their subjective depth or meaning. Dualism provides a language for discussing these dimensions of human life, preserving a space for the immaterial aspects of existence. Looking forward, the interplay between philosophy, science, and technology will be essential for addressing the enduring questions raised by dualism. By combining philosophical rigor with empirical research, we can deepen our understanding of consciousness, identity, and the nature of reality. Whether exploring the mysteries of the brain, the potential of AI, or the ethical implications of technological advancements, the legacy of dualism continues to shape our quest for knowledge. While it may not provide all the answers, it serves as a vital foundation for the ongoing exploration of what it means to be human. Descartes' dualism fundamentally reshaped how we approach the relationship between mind and matter. By establishing a framework that distinguishes the immaterial mind from the physical body, it invited deep philosophical inquiry into what it means to think, feel, and exist. His ideas provided a starting point for understanding the complexities of human nature, sparking debates that continue to evolve in modern times. However, the limitations of dualism, most notably its inability to explain how an immaterial mind interacts with a material body, have paved the way for alternative perspectives and richer discussions. The enduring appeal of dualism lies in its acknowledgement of the mind's unique qualities. The mind, as Descartes described, is the realm of thought, consciousness, and self-awareness, qualities that feel distinct from the mechanical and observable nature of the physical body. Yet, as neuroscience and psychology have advanced, it has become clear that this separation is not as absolute as Descartes proposed. The brain, a physical organ, plays an undeniable role in shaping our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Damage to specific brain regions can alter personality or impair cognitive abilities, demonstrating that the mind and body are deeply interconnected. These discoveries highlight the need for a nuanced understanding that respects both the distinctiveness and interconnectedness of mind and body. The lessons from dualism extend beyond philosophical theory and into everyday life. Consider the ways in which mental states influence physical health. Stress, for example, is a mental state with tangible physical consequences, such as elevated heart rates or weakened immune systems. Conversely, physical actions like exercise can significantly improve mental well-being, reducing anxiety and boosting mood. These examples illustrate the intricate harmony between mind and body, suggesting that neither can be fully understood in isolation from the other. The interplay between mind and body is not just a theoretical matter. It is central to our sense of identity and agency. Are we defined more by our thoughts and intentions, or by the actions of our physical selves? This question invites personal reflection. Imagine a moment when your mind wanted to persist in an activity, but your body felt too tired to continue. Or consider times when physical pain or illness dominated your thoughts and emotions. These experiences remind us that the mind and body operate in constant dialogue, each shaping the other in profound ways. In a broader sense, dualism also encourages us to explore the boundaries of human potential and creativity. The mind's capacity for imagination and abstract thought has led to groundbreaking achievements, from technological innovations to artistic masterpieces. At the same time, the body provides the means to bring these ideas to life, translating thoughts into tangible actions. The relationship between the two is not merely one of interaction, but of collaboration, with each enriching the other. As we navigate a world increasingly shaped by technology and scientific discovery, the questions raised by dualism remain relevant. Artificial intelligence challenges our understanding of consciousness, while brain-computer interfaces blur the lines between mind and machine. These advancements force us to reconsider what it means to be human and how we define the essence of self. Are we our thoughts, our actions, or something more? While Descartes' dualism may not provide definitive answers, it offers a framework for grappling with these profound questions. Ultimately, the harmony between mind and body is what defines us as individuals. The mind provides the guidance, creativity, and reflection that shape our choices, while the body grounds those choices in physical reality. Together, they form the essence of human experience, a balance of thought and action, introspection and interaction. This duality, rather than being a source of conflict, can be seen as a source of strength, a reminder of the rich complexity of being human. The challenge and opportunity lie in embracing this harmony and exploring the ways in which it shapes our lives and understanding of the world. Wow, what a journey we've been on today. From René Descartes' groundbreaking claim of cogito, ergo sum, I think, therefore I am, to modern debates about consciousness, AI, and the mind-body connection, we've explored one of the deepest mysteries of human existence. Dualism has challenged us to ask profound questions. What is the essence of the self? Are our thoughts and emotions merely the result of neural activity? Or is there something more, something immaterial, that makes us who we are? As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on some of the fascinating ideas we've covered. We've seen how the mind can influence the body, as in the placebo effect or the physical toll of stress. We've looked at how neuroscience offers insights into the brain's role in shaping our mental states, while also acknowledging that the hard problem of consciousness, why certain brain states feel a certain way, remains unsolved. And we've explored how emerging technologies like AI challenge our understanding of what it means to have a mind or be conscious. Through all of this, one thing is clear: the relationship between mind and body is not just a philosophical question. It's deeply personal. It's about understanding ourselves, why we think the way we do, why we feel, and why we act. Dualism might not provide all the answers, but it gives us a powerful lens for examining these questions and appreciating the complexity of what it means to be human. Now, here's a thought experiment for you. What do you believe? Is your mind distinct from your body? Or are they simply two sides of the same coin? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspectives. Remember, the beauty of philosophy lies not in finding definitive answers, but in engaging with the questions and exploring different points of view. If you enjoyed this deep dive into dualism, do me a favor, Hit that like button so we know you want more videos like this. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss future explorations into life's biggest questions. Want to help support the channel? You can contribute directly with a super thanks. Every bit helps us create better, more engaging content for you. And, of course, share this video with friends or on social media to spark even more discussions. Thank you so much for watching and for being part of this incredible community of curious minds. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and until next time, take care and don't forget to take a moment to reflect on your own mind-body connection. See you in the next video.